Welcome guys to another video here on the Man United Daily YouTube channel, and welcome back to the channel. Obviously it has been a bit dormant in the past few months because as I explained in the last video, I've gone to university and resumed my second year, and there's a lot of work to do on my course. I study law, so obviously there's been a lot of work, so I have been unable to keep up with the video content. But during that time I've been quite active on the website ManUnitedDaily.com, as well as the original content from Twitter, which is Man United Daily. So if you guys want to get a more regular update where I don't have to make a video during term time or semester times, then please do check those two sources, either the website or Twitter. Twitter is probably more likely to be off the cuff opinions, and a website is where I repost a lot of graphics stuff and also just a match preview and report, but in the writing form. But I've got here in this video, I'm going to do a kind of like review of United season so far, and this can be probably the last video I make before Christmas, so obviously it's going to be quite a lengthy video and just a general overview because I have been missing quite a lot of the season. I just want to give my opinions out there for you guys, and obviously if you guys have any opinion in kind of like comparison to what I've said, then please do leave them below, because the conversation that we do have is very productive and also just entertaining for everyone involved. So here are 5 things that I think that has been really done really well during the past few months that have been away from the channel. Then the first thing is probably undisputed fact that David De Gea is a top class and world class goalkeeper. I remember, and if you look at on my channel 3 years ago when he made that mistake against Blackburn Rovers, I'm sure everyone remembers that. He was absolutely slaughtered in the press. I remember because I was playing football at the time, and going back I was just seeing the result and just the hammering he was getting from social media and just the general established journals as well. So it was just a nightmare situation for De Gea. I mean, brand new to the country, the physicality was always highlighted as something that he would have to physically adjust himself into, but no one knew how kind of difficult it was. So that was a very challenging time, but thanks to the perseverance of Sir Alex Ferguson, we now see kind of like the diamond coming out of the rough and producing performance after performance. I don't know how many times he saved us already this season. I mean, going back to the game where I think was the catalyst for everyone kind of saying, wow, what a top class. It was the Everton game. I mean, he was absolutely immense in that game. The saves at the end was incredible, especially from Oviedo, that tip over the bar. I mean, I remember watching it live and I just couldn't believe it when he tipped it over. I mean, that game had everything, the drama, and Everton deserved at least a draw, if not better, from that game. So De Gea single-handedly got us the 3 points and has continued until even a draw at Villa at the weekend, where he produced an incredible stop from Benteke, tipping it over the bar. So De Gea definitely, if he was getting a grade, he would be an A-star student this term. I mean, his trajectory from when he first came is off the scale. The danger is now, from our point of view, is that he is maybe tempted to go back to Spain, and I think that might be a problem in a few years' time. I don't think it's a kind of like short-term problem, but with kind of like foreign players, you do have always the fear that they might be tempted back home, and especially it's not going to be some second division club. It is Real Madrid, even though he is a Atletico fan. The lure of Real Madrid as one of the biggest clubs in the world, and their record at the moment is ridiculous. I think it's 21 wins on a trot now. So Real Madrid absolutely stomping La Liga and also the Club World Cup right now. So that is probably the danger in the near future. I wouldn't say it's the imminent future, but in a few years' time, you never know. And De Gea's stock probably will be even rising even further than what it is now. So that's a little tinge of kind of like negativity towards that aspect. But De Gea, this term, you can't much put any fault on him, because against Liverpool as well, he was absolutely incredible. So De Gea, my hats off go to you, mister, because you have been saving United and yeah, just making us look good. Obviously, we stalled a bit at the weekend, drawing that and ending the winning sequence, but overall, De Gea has done a fantastic job in goal for us this year. And the second one, not much further, and it's probably another predominant kind of like feature this year, is the defensive frailties. I mean, I don't think we've had one settled back four in any two consecutive games, and that speaks volumes about the injuries that we've had, which I'll go into a bit later on, because there's been a frightening amount of injury within the back line itself. And when we do have an kind of like returning defender, another one goes out, so it's just chopping and changing. Obviously, as I previously mentioned, De Gea has been saving our skin so many times, and that is probably down towards the transition of the back four every single week. I mean, for the past few games we have been switching back to a back three, and that hasn't really helped defensive situations either, because at time we look even weaker than we have been playing at four at the back. So it's just a bit of a crisis right now, because I don't believe any United fan going to any game would think, oh, we're definitely keeping a clean sheet in this game, and feel confident enough to, you know, back our defence at the moment to create a solid enough wall and provide enough protection for De Gea to, you know, don't work as much and just have a solid game as a unit. So that's probably the biggest worry I have in going to, you know, keeping this kind of like momentum up. I never thought that we were strong enough defensively for a touch challenge. Obviously, De Gea is on himself, fantastic, and the attack is very, very good. But defensively, you have to build from the back, because during our title-winning years, we had Ferdinand and Vidic, and you're seeing that now with like a lot of the top sides, especially City and Chelsea, who are probably contending for the Premier League this year. Both have, you know, at least one central figure in the defence who is willing to command and, you know, have the respect of the others to really produce that, and, you know, definitely captain material to you know, provide a bit of stability and also presence in the back. Obviously, Carrick tried to provide that, but Carrick, again, a central midfielder by trade, so he's not going to provide that physical presence that a Nemanja Vidic in his prime, or Vincent Kompany, or John Terry, or Gary Cahill, you know, having at a moment in time. So that's probably the one aspect I think Louis van Gaal want to improve on a lot. One person I think has been a bit disappointing for me is Johnny Evans. Some of his parts has been really, really slack. I don't know what happened since he's come back from injury. Against Southampton, I thought he was really, really slack there. Against Liverpool, obviously that back pass towards De Gea was way, way short, and De Gea rescued him there. Against Villa, he was absolutely bullied for Benteke. So Johnny Evans, his form has dropped, I mean, alarmingly over the past few months, and I don't know whether just a bit of rust from the injuries that he has occurred over the past season, or whether he's just, you know, dropping form at the moment, and it's just a very alarming rate. So that's one probably player where you think, you know, he's probably the most experienced defender we have at the minute at the club, and you would think that he would provide the most stability towards the back line, but that hasn't been the case. So others have to step up, and obviously with the you know, use of Blackie and McNair, also, you know, we have to look for a new leader within the defence. Obviously, everyone thought that Jones would have that ability, and I think he does. He's only 22 still, Jones, but again, injuries are a massive problem in his department, so we just need to improve on that. Obviously, looking towards transfers, it is probably a bit early, but looking at Dortmund, they're still in the relegation zone, so obviously the standout name from that team is Mats Hummels, World Cup winner, so and the Dortmund captain, so would definitely fit all the criteria needed at the moment. But with Dortmund in such a dire situation, it is doubtful that they will let him go during January, and especially as they are still in the Champions League. But in the summer, could be an option, but it'll be you know, quite an expensive option, around £35 million. But in order to, you know, rebuild this defence that is so desperately needed of a leader, I think that is probably money worth spending if we were gonna, you know, pursue Hummels in a, you know, serious manner. So that's my second point, is the defensive frailties. I'm sure a lot of you guys have your opinions on this situation right now at United, so please do leave your comment below. So the third is talking about resurrections of much maligned players. So the two that comes to mind instantly is Ashley Young and Marouane Fellaini. Both has gone a sensational transformation this season under Louis van Gaal. I'll talk about Ashley Young first, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have found it really interesting how he has managed to adapt his game to being a left back slash left wing back. And obviously he's not naturally left footed, but you have to take your hat off to him to the way he has managed to curb his attacking instincts, but also improving on his defensive capabilities to such a point that he's now capably covering for Luke Shaw while he's injured. So Ashley Young, massive thumbs up to him. Obviously playing against Villa at the weekend, provided the assist to Radamel Falcao. Fantastic left-footed cross. Obviously sometimes it's still encouraging to see him take people on, go to the byline, try to it with his left foot, but sometimes it does cut back still a bit too much for my liking. But as a just a left back or left wing back, he does need to curb it and play the safe ball at times in order not to lose possession, especially considering the frailties we have at the back line, where any sort of mistake can be punished at a minute, because it's just walking on eggshells and on glass at the minute, considering our defensive backline at the present moment. But Ashley Young, again, just to say, very impressive. Obviously even more assists and perhaps a few goals here and there could transform him and potentially get him back into the England squad as a more utility player. But Ashley Young done really well this season, and he hasn't cost us any points. So Ashley Young, massive thumbs up to him. The second player is Marouane Fellaini. Obviously Louis van Gaal stated that he wanted a bit more of a physical presence, and you don't get much bigger than Fellaini. And last year at times I thought he would look really solid, and I think the goal against West Brom this season has really transformed him, brought the confidence. Fellaini, I think he's a very good footballer, obviously not the greatest in terms of the touch, but very simple and very intelligent footballer. And just a physical presence that we do lack at times, because if you looked against Liverpool, I thought in the second half he was immense in central midfield. Even though he was on a yellow, I thought that was a bit of a risk, but we really needed his presence to break up the play. And obviously that third goal from Van Persie killed the game off. But if you track all the way back, it was Fellaini's interception of Kolo Touré's run that really set up that attack. So Fellaini done a massive improvement this season, both in terms of the goals that he's getting, the threat that he's doing, but also just the overall work rate. I think is a lot better. And obviously you already know you're going to get the heading ability of Fellaini and also the physical presence, but I think his overall game has really lifted, and Louis van Gaal has obviously encouraged that. And it's funny how Van Gaal has managed to get the best out of Fellaini, while David Moyes, supposedly a Fellaini manager, has failed in the past season. So it's massive credit both to Van Gaal, but more importantly Fellaini, who's becoming more and more of a fixture within the first team. The fourth point I want to talk about, and I've touched on it a lot of times, especially with the defensive situation, is injuries. And I don't know how we're meant to dress it up, but I mean 43 different injuries is some sort of a joke. I don't know whether the methods of Louis van Gaal is too harsh. The double training session is being questioned at the minute, but every single game we just can't survive a week's training, because before the Villa game, Ander Herrera picked up a little injury, so that was him out, and Darren Fletcher had to start, and that just provided another setback within our team. And the back line itself, I think the frailty comes from the fact that we can't get a solid back line together. I mean, when we did play for a couple of weeks where Rojo and Smalling were a pair, I thought they looked really, really good. I mean, they complement each other. Smalling can be more aggressive, while Rojo has the more technical ability to read a game and also just pass out from the back. And I thought those two was developing something really, really good. But then Smalling gone off with a groin injury, and now Rojo been absent for the past 2 games. So it's been a disruptive time again. So Johnny Evans was rushed back, and then Phil Jones was rushed back for the Liverpool game, and Michael Carrick even had an attempt to play there again for a couple of games. So that again highlights the issues that injuries do disrupt the team's flow and rhythm. And to achieve some sort of success within the season, you do need a lot of consistency throughout the team, and injuries definitely do not help in that regard. So obviously consistency is definitely key to bringing some sort of success to the team, but injuries, 43 injuries, I think Lou and Gal do need to have a kind of, I'm sure Lou and Gal and his staff, are not foolish, so they are looking into solutions into how this situation can be resolved, but it's just a bit of a worry really to see how many injuries we are getting, and it doesn't seem to get, it's not like, it's not kind of like impact injuries within the game. It's just during the week where the training happens, and just the players definitely just pick up muscle injuries after muscle injuries, and so that's a concern. And Lou and Gal probably will want to address that before the new year in order to surmount any sort of and cement our position within the top 4, because I think it does kind of bodes well that we are not playing very well, and we don't even have all of our new signings fit all at the same time, and we are still in 3rd place. So that does show that we are getting our spirit and our just fighting and grittiness back, so in making up for consistency and quality within our football, because against Villa you can tell that some of our flow was disrupted by the constant switching. So just hopefully the injury situation with ease, and then we'll hopefully build on that and have everyone playing once again within the new year. And the last point is to do with youth development, and I'm sure it's a subject that is very fondly thought of by a lot of United supporters, because I think the record is now since 1937 we've always had at least one graduate within the matchday squad at United, and this season has seen no difference in terms of that philosophy, and I'm very, very proud that Lou van Gaal has taken that urge and that philosophy into the next generation, especially in terms of James Wilson, who he has trusted with a lot of trust. I mean, starting a 19-year-old against Liverpool is a massive sign that how highly he rates him. And obviously under Lou van Gaal, if you're old enough then you're good enough. I mean, if you're good enough, then you're old enough, shall I say. And even defensively, Blackett and McNair has been kind of like jumpy and a bit stunted at times in terms of their play. Blackett had a bit of a horror against Leicester, and he was taken out of the firing line for a couple of weeks, also with suspension. But Paddy McNair's management, I thought, highlights the kind of like management style that Lou van Gaal has, and the trust and kind of like the faith that even he has in the youngsters, and also the young players must have in him. That McNair, who had a bit of a personal nightmare at Southampton, got taken off 10 minutes before half time, but against Liverpool he was put back on for the last few minutes as a sign that he's still part of Lou van Gaal's thinking, and that he didn't want to wreck his confidence. And so I thought that management was top class from Lou van Gaal, and I just think it's a great sign for the future ahead that players are encouraged and they are being shown a straight path from the youth team all the way to the first team, and there is a transitional stage there that you are able to have, and Lou van Gaal is actively encouraging that. And if you're good enough, then you're definitely going to be old enough. And with the likes of Joe Rothwell and also Andreas Pereira being training with the first team almost constantly, also lets them know that they are within the thinking of Lou van Gaal, and not to lose believe that they will make it at United at a top level. But I think youth development has taken a huge hit this season, and Lou van Gaal massive thumbs up for carrying on that philosophy, and I'm sure a lot of United fans will agree with me that I hope that this philosophy and the record from 1937 will carry on for many years to come. So there's my 5 points of reviewing United mid-term report, if you like. So just giving you overview, De Gea is top class. Defensive frailties were my second point. Resurrection of much maligned players was my third. Injuries was my fourth, and also the philosophy of youth development is my fifth point. So if you guys have any opinions on any of those topics, then please do leave any comment below, and we'll try to get some sort of discussion going on beneath. And just in conclusion, I think we're well ahead of the process and project that Louis van Gaal is setting for United at the moment. I mean, lining third, and like I said before, we're not playing very well. And in terms of the amount of injury we've got, I don't think we've ever played the 6 new signings in one game, so that does show the sort of injury crisis that we do have at a club at the minute. So better things are coming, but we just have to wait and see, especially with this injuries situation still dictating how Louis van Gaal is picking a team. But I'm really glad for the likes of Falcao scoring over the weekend. I think Luke Shaw will be back for the Newcastle game on Boxing Day, so I think it's a looking forward again. Angel Di Maria returns, so I think we are on a great trajectory. If people out there can't see the huge improvement that we have this season over the last, then they're all wearing beer goggles, and they are not seeing the huge strides that Louis van Gaal is making with this team. Obviously a lot to work on still, but we're third, and we're if we stay there, and we're 5 points clear of the next realistic kind of challenges, Arsenal, Spurs, Liverpool, even potentially for those European spots. I do think the likes of West Ham might fade away towards the end of the season, or if they get a lot of injuries. So I think Louis van Gaal has done a fantastic job considering the circumstances, and De Gea has been saving us all season long, and hope may it continue for the rest of the season. So yeah, there you guys have it for another video here on the Man United Daily YouTube channel. This video is very long, I know, but I would give you guys a long video, as I've missed a lot of the games over the past few months due to my commitment at university, but also giving you guys out there a good video to watch perhaps on Christmas Day if you're getting a bit bored of the turkey or whatever. So it's probably the last video I'll make before Christmas, but obviously after Boxing Day I'll probably make a report on that Newcastle game. So yeah, as I won't be seeing you guys until after Christmas, have a very Merry Christmas. Don't get too drunk, but obviously enjoy yourself, and have a fantastic day with your family, guys. I mean, we've got some personal circumstances at the minute, and just shows how much family is worth to everyone. So again, have a great day with your family, have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you soon, guys. Cheers. That wraps up another video here on the Man United Daily YouTube channel. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, comment below on any of the stories mentioned, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And also, if you want to keep to be updated with the latest videos, please subscribe to the channel for more content. You can check me out as well on Twitter at ManUnitedDaily, or visit the website at ManUnitedDaily.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.